got something better?
It's the anti-checker.
We will return to your scheduled programming shortly, or we are currently experiencing technical difficulty.
What is going on, YouTube? Michael J. Crawford, the anti-checker here. And first and foremost, let me see if I can get things back to the way they were supposed to be before. As far as the chat widget and all that, and see, because, yeah, I was just getting all sorts of weird here. Where is the tip jar? Let me see if we go to Streamlabs. Bear with me, guys. Sorry. The problem is it's hard to test some of this stuff if you're not actually live, which is kind of a pain in the behind. There we go. All right, and it looks so far like things are good. You see Auntie is in her usual place of alertness, standing guard against the Sandman, I guess. I have got my coffee right here and my prized mug. And we are ready to go. So BIRDOPREY tried to be first, but he actually put this into the chat before the show started, so that doesn't count. But Luke actually said, hey, after the show started, just ahead of Thomas. And so Luke puts hashtag the real first. That is correct. You know, it's really a sad day when Quiroga tries to be sneaky against the French. And then Jason says third. That is absolutely correct. Matthew Bennett says good morning, Turtistan. Hey, Matthew, how you doing? John Meyer says hi. Spies Like Us says hey. How you doing, Spies? Bradley says, wow, what a great title for a live stream. I'm glad you appreciate it. Wow, and I'm hearing some weird intermittent sound. I don't know if that's, well, we'll see if it happens. We need to build a lore for Turtistan. We do. We truly do. Because we need, and I know somebody, now I'm losing my mind as to who it was, but somebody was working on making a video about the origins of the hostilities between Turtistan and Quiroga. But I haven't seen it yet. The title will win a Pulitzer, says John. Thank you. I worked very hard on that title. And Thomas puts $2 into the chat. Thank you, my good friend Thomas, and loyal commander of the Turtistani Military Force, or TMF. We're working on that. Wants seat number 7. You got it. Wait a minute. That's not. What? Wait. What? There. All right. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties. Let's try that again. Yeah, we definitely need to do something illustrating just how vile Turtistan is. But thank you so much, Thomas. Double duty lore. It's lore and it's lore. And we do, yeah, we do need some good lore on that, Luke. Vile Mike says howdy to everybody. Ector is here, says hi. Bradley says if Anti ever does a meetup, he needs a real tip jar, and every time someone puts money in it, he has to do that face. Bird says, what is this armature hour? You know, I never criticize people's spelling because I'm dyslexic, but really, Bird, I mean, what an ironic misspelling that would be. And Ector corrects him, says, amateur Bird. Luke is in the chat. Don't destroy French. And Thomas says, no, BIRDOPREY, this isn't your stream. Yes, I know. And I know he meant it's amateur. I just don't like the way that word looks. Valor says, I made it on time. How are you feeling? I am here. I'm not having a great day, but it's not been the worst day ever. But I'm still dealing with the insurance people, still dealing with the various doctor's offices, trying to get people to communicate so that I can get my back pay. I hope this is done soon. But in a couple of days here, we're going to start the procedures, and hopefully I'll start to feel better. Vile Mike says, my miner had an unfortunate meeting with some space pirates and got caught in the gravity well and crashed into a mountain. Oh, so you pulled a bird of prey. Sorry to hear that, Vile. But don't worry, Bird of Prey hates you, even though you didn't do anything to him. He hates everybody now, apparently. Spies Like Us, what are we talking about today? Well, just the stupidity of Kuroga right now, but yeah. And Rock Solid says, damn it, it's still filtering out my like, comment, donate, share down with Kuroga Stan message. Kuroga Stan. Well, I don't know. It's the system. I don't know why it does that. You know what? Let me try this. Because you do that every single time here, Rock Solid. So I'm going to try, all right, try it now. I put you in as a moderator. I want to see if that makes a difference, because you do that regularly for me, and I appreciate that. And even the Captain George objects, I don't mind giving you a wrench since you're doing that for the channel. But let me know if that works. And Thomas isn't and I'm office designer. Well, you did design the office, but you are also leader of the Kurdistani military. I see Picardo is in talks for Picard. I didn't hear about that, but if so, that's good-ish. It's kind of weird. How are they going to explain the hologram being older? I'm sure he'll just say, oh, well, I wanted to blend in, Which, don't get me wrong, despite my jokingly, whatever you want to say, despite the way that I presented, I would like to see Rob Picardo return as the Doctor. He was actually, in my opinion, just an absolute joy to watch during the Voyager run. Auntie is awake and actually moving. She does wake up every now and then. Darren says, stealth live stream. I see how you are. What did it? Well, it wasn't intended to be a stealth live stream. Honest, it really wasn't. Let's see. And no, it was not me. I assumed it was an attempt. That failed. What the hell happened then? Well, as far as Bird of Prey, he's just being stupid. There was the glitch in the system caused a lot of stuff that people had built, including stuff that we had built, disappeared from the game, and he's blaming you or some other person that was an ally of Kuroga for dismantling the church. And Kronos says, son of a bitch, first. Nightbreeze says, how vile Kurdistan is. Don't you mean Kuroga? Oh, did I say that? Yeah, well, obviously, you guys know. I'm not feeling well. If I slip of the tongue, you guys get it. I don't, unlike the Kurogan dictator, I'm not going to try to win over an argument based on a slight mistake or misspeaking of something. You guys understand my intent. You guys we all know how evil Kuroga is, and so we don't need to belabor that point. Tapped it MKG says, the title brought me in. I knew that title would work. Kronos says, I hate my own spelling. Hey, all, by the way. Hey, welcome, Kronos. I keep watching videos by YouTubers all about Red Troopers from Star Wars, but most vids missing some out. I'm not sure what you mean there, Dan. Are you saying they're missing something about the Red Troopers? Because I haven't really done a video specifically about the Sith Troopers, so I'm curious what you're talking about. And let's see. Vile says, Hector, I logged in. Let's see. Oh, so you're talking about the wrecked miners. Gotcha. I need to make an announcement. When I call Anti-Checker a dolt, it is a term of endearment. But after being hounded and belittled by a lot of you in my head, I will refrain from doing so. It's all right, Darren. It's okay. I will officially say you are allowed to call me adult because I know that it's just your beard speaking. Whoops, was logged in as my alter ego. How's it going, all? Hey, live with Matthew. I don't know which alter ego that was, but welcome. Number 7 is the true birth of lore. Who knew? That is true. So far, watch Endgame 1.5 times. Very good, Thomas. I have not. I was asleep. I've just been exhausted, and I probably won't have time to watch anything today or tomorrow or Thursday. But Luke throws €5 into the chat. Thank you, Luke. You are truly a great, great Frenchman, which is such a rare thing to say. Kuroga once tried to get as sneaky as France as sneaky on France as the Germans, but their landing boats got lost in the Bermuda Triangle toilet sea in the Turkestani Sea. Very true. That was what we refer to as the Great Flushing. Very few ships make it out of the flushing zone. Kronos says, we're here for you, Checker. Thank you, Kronos. I know, and that's, boy, you guys... You guys really do keep me going. Dan says that was in the Emoji Movie. That is true. Did you see my Discord message yet? I have not been on Discord this morning. I checked Discord last night, but let me see, Kronos. Let's see. Let's see. Just saw Endgame. 3 words. Blew my mind. Another 3 words. Worth the wait. Oh, what was this? Another 3 words. Absolutely thrilling movie. This just in. More 3 words. Couldn't watch twice. Was a long freaking film. Yeah, that's a tough one to watch twice back to back. But Endgame, you know what? There are a couple of cringe moments in Endgame, like the all-girl Avengers Power Hour moment. However, they minimized Captain Marvel, which was a smart move, and I think that it was an extremely satisfying ending to a 10-year journey. I think that it was absolutely brilliantly done. So Luke wants UBERCHAT number 3. You got it, Luke. Let's see what is behind door number 3.
Dad, do you think you could start eating healthier? Well, I got this apple for you here.
I don't care, you...
My, how the tables have turned.
What tables? Go make me another super chat.
Oh, bollocks.
There it is. And thank you, Luke. Darth Kilhoun is in the house, says, hey, Checker, hey. Did someone attack, server glitch, or something else? Why? I don't know. I know that we didn't attack you guys. We have been we don't go out attacking people. So despite the lies coming from Kuroga. Hector says, sorry, Entry, for trying your maybe physics. Oh, no biggie, Hector. I know it's okay. We all love space engineers except for Darren, so it's okay. Brian McFarland is in the house. Says, hi, Dio, everybody. Hey, Brian. Kronos wants to know, did you fix the tip jar? I believe so, but, and so I think that it should be working now. So, Kronos, if you want to test it, you can go to streamlabs.com and make a huge donation, and we'll see if it works. Rock Salt says, don't forget, people, hit that like button, share via socials, donate if you can, and down with, it's supposed to be just Kuroga, not Kurogistan. Now, come on now. You gotta, I know you're trying to play double agent here, Rock Solid, but, you know, you should be on the side of good and righteousness. Let's see, having to get a new phone this week. Yeah, phones, it's so funny because, 12 years ago, there was no such thing as a smartphone. And in fact, me and Mrs. Antchecker were watching Casino Royale last night, and Bond is tracking down the bad guys with his high-tech cell phone that looks like an old cell phone. It was not a smartphone because they didn't really exist yet, and it was just kind of funny to think about how far they've come. But on the flip side, smartphones are so freaking expensive. I mean, the high-end ones are upwards of $1,000 now, and that's just crazy. Let's see. If Picard's is in talks, I assume you mean Picardo, it means Data is a hologram. Not necessarily. It just means that the Doctor is still a hologram, but he could have the mobile emitter. Data could still be a hologram, or B4, or even Lore. I hope he's just a hologram, but we'll see. Rock Salt says, wait, there's a typo there. I'll fix it. Thank you. Hey there, nerds. It was an easy way to say yo to everyone. That's an easy way to say hello, yo to everyone. Yes, it is. And even though you kind of already did. Don't forget, people, hit the like button, share via socials, donate if you can. Down with Karoga. Down with Karoga today, tomorrow, and next week. Turdistan for life. Much, much better, Rock Solid. That's and it'll be even better if you put it that way on Bird's stream. Darren says, I have to love, hate opinion of the Voyager Doctor. I like the concept until they went into the whole holographic life rights stuff. Then they lost me. Holograms shouldn't be alive. I actually agree with you on that, Darren. I think that, but then you guys know that I come down on the Data's not alive either camp. But I personally think that the whole holographic rights thing was a bit much. Because if any hologram that's sufficiently sophisticated has rights, why would you make a hologram at all? And why couldn't the holograms just take over? Let's see. Did you see the new Picard Star Trek relaunch trailer? Well, I did the breakdown of the one trailer that came out of Comic-Con. Is there another trailer that I'm not aware of? Or is there some note of sarcasm there that is going right over my dull head? And let's see. Because I'm just curious. Let's see. Where was... Man. Hold on. Okay. All right, I did my part. What's adult? Adult is me, apparently. Adult is a person who is slow-witted. And I managed to see the battle. I wasn't too late. That's good, Peter, and good to see you. Oh, can you see the link, checker? If not, I'll throw a direct message. I did not see a link from you, Peter. What was the link for? Sorry, my chat just completely wigged out, and I'm trying to get back. Chronos says Endgame was awesome. Agreed. I guess they could have Picardo play Zimmerman, but last we heard he was dying of an incurable in the 24th century disease. Right. That would explain the aging if they had him play Zimmerman, but I have a feeling they're just going to have him play the Doctor and have some flimsy excuse that he's aged, or do creepy de-aging like they did with Data and only have him in one scene. And let's see. Hector says Kronos or women. Not sure what you mean. And Kronos says, Hector, I'm too tired to know what you mean. I don't either. Roxal says, Edgetrigger, live streams are not for Discord. Stay on target. I'm trying. I tell you, I am in such a fog right now. I apologize, guys. I'm trying to be focused, and it's very difficult. Because the Sith Trooper... Okay, Dan saying, because of the Sith Trooper, lots of YouTubers are making videos where they list all other red troopers seen in Star Wars, but those videos are always missing a couple of troopers. Ah, gotcha. Well, I think that I haven't tried to do that because, honestly, the only thing that really comes to mind besides the Sith Troopers are the Royal Guard and the Praetorian Guard. Honestly, that's all I think of, but there might have been something else that I'm not thinking of. Let's see. There were way too many services. I'm not sure what you mean, Stan. Chronos says, loved it. As far as Endgame, yes. Darren says, my opinion on Endgame, it was good, but not great. Not as great as Infinity War. They botched the Hulk and Thor. Thor is now going to be the white male that gets made fun of. Maybe so, but I actually liked Fat Thor in Endgame. I really did, and he still has potential to me. I do not, as far as what they said about Thor, Love and Thunder, that looks bad. But the, as far as Hulk, I know you have a big thing about how you didn't like their version of Banner Hulk or Professor Hulk or however you want to call it. It didn't bother me so much, although I was disappointed that Hulk never got his rematch. In fact, I think, obviously the best part of that movie was seeing Cap, Iron Man, and Thor take on Thanos just before the massive battle, and that was really great to watch. But Hulk should have been in that, and so I was disappointed that Hulk didn't get his rematch. Rock Solid says hashtag Endgame is overrated. Hashtag Zelda Breath of Wild is overrated too. Don't know Zelda Breath of the Wild, but I'll agree that some of the hype on Endgame is a little bit much, but I still think it's a great movie. Damn the chick flicks moments. However, it was very well done. Yeah, I didn't like the chick flick moment, but yeah. And Darren says the all-girl plus Spider-Man shot. You mean yes. Spider-Man was technically in the shot, but yes, it was the girls coming to save the day, which actually, honestly, doesn't make a lot of sense because given her power set, Captain Marvel should have been able to basically just fly the Infinity Gauntlet at near light speed to the van, end of battle. The fact that they needed to get everybody together doesn't make any sense because just from what we've seen of Captain Marvel, she's fast enough to where she should have been able to end the fight right then and there. Or just grab the Infinity Gauntlet and fly right out into space. Because she's obviously as fast as any starship, so why would they could actually pull the battle away from Earth, or she could throw the Infinity Gauntlet into the sun or something. In Star Wars, there are some troopers that are completely red and some that only have some red on. Well, that's true. Well, like if you're talking about like red patches and stuff like that, true. And Stanley says, yes, Endgame could have been much worse. Yeah, worse. I agree. That's the thing. They could have made Endgame a completely woke mess, but they didn't. Now, and I know that some people are very much afraid that Marvel's about to go there. They might, and if they do, I will not be happy about it. But until they do, I'm going to hope that they don't. They should have killed off Captain Marvel. I would have given it a 10 out of 10 instead of a 9 out of 10. I still want to see... I want to see, now that they brought Captain Marvel in, let her die at the hands of Rogue. Honestly, that should be... that should be the way to do it. Chrono says, I love the haters. Can't prove me wrong. That's true. And it's funny because... And, as far as... As far as Endgame getting a lot of hate over like the all-girl scene and stuff like that, I understand the frustration that people put out there, but I think that you're reading a little too deep into it. The movie is not a woke fest of a film. It's not The Last Jedi. It's not, Ghostbusters 2016. It's not Star Trek Discovery. Yeah, it's got a couple of shots that if you cut out would fix the whole thing. Let's see. Endgame is still better than anything that JJ can make. Well, I would agree with you there. I think the Russo brothers are definitely better directors than JJ Abrams. I hate my keyboard. I'm sorry, Kronos. Somebody send Kronos a new keyboard, please. I believe the Silver Surfer is coming to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Apparently, there are hidden clues in some of the latest films. I've heard that. I haven't seen anything to prove it. But I'm not against Silver Surfer showing up, but I want to see Silver Surfer show up in the form of Norrin Rad. I want to see him sacrifice himself to save his planet. I want to see Galactus. I want to see the other Heralds of Galactus. There's so much you can do. Mrs. Marvel showing up at the last minute deflated everyone in the entire theater I was at. As long as she was on screen, everyone knew there was no real tension. Yeah, that is very true, and that is a big problem with her character. There's no tension with her character. Nothing is earned. She's just invincible. Whoever Ice Alicious is, Kuroga left a gift outside a base of yours. Wow, so Kuroga is actually going out there and what you leave like a bomb for them or something? Are you resorting to terrorist tactics now? Captain Jesse says, how's your back today? Not good, Captain Jesse, but thank you for asking and thank you for being here with me. Wow, Anti-Checker, just wow. What'd I do? I stopped complaining about space engineers like 10 minutes ago. Get with it, man. Sorry, in that comment you left 10 minutes ago. But it's been a day. You know, Darren. I'm so freaking done. And let's see. My question about Star Wars. If the Empire ever gave their soldiers camouflage, would their soldiers actually be good to survive longer? I made those complaints in my Sith Empire Army video. I'll tell you, it doesn't seem to make sense that you would have them, like, boldly wearing the bright white armor in a forest environment. I mean, really, the only time the stormtrooper armor makes sense is on Hoth. But you're right. They should be wearing proper camouflage. They should be proper soldiers, but the Empire doesn't care. What's a smartphone? It's the opposite of a dumb one. If you can wait, the Note 10 and Pixel 4 will be announcing soon for phones. That's true. And I have a Note 8 for my phone, and I would like to get the Note 10, but it's probably going to be kind of expensive, so I doubt I will. But I do want to get. I'm betting that the Note 10 will be 5G capable, and I want my next phone to be a 5G phone. 12 years ago, I had a Windows computer in a phone. I don't think Windows phones were around 12 years ago. I put the Picardo news into Discord. Thank you, Peter. I will check it out later. It has a full keyboard. Oh, so it's like one of those BlackBerry clones. Because BlackBerry was really the original, the original smartphone. Stanley says, price of a gaming computer. Yeah, I mean, I've seen these phones are up like $1,200, $1,300, and it's like, yeah, that's crazy. We think we finally got my sister off her thing for lore. I think it's his hair. Wait, your sister had a thing for lore? I didn't know that. We definitely need an intervention then. Darren says, I have never and never will have a smartphone, even though I work tech support for one of the major cell carriers. Why not, Darren? I actually like smartphones. What they're capable of is actually pretty darn cool. Good morning, Andy Trekker. I need to come hang out with my fellow nerds. Family drama. Ah, Eric, well, you are always welcome with us. And while we are a family and we do have drama, we don't have that kind of family drama. So, welcome. Free phones that come up with cell phone plans these days are more than good enough. No need to go out and buy one anymore. Upgrade for $50 to $100 every 2 years. Okay. I could see them transferring Data's program from B4 to a hologram to get around that pesky I'm dead problem Data has. I don't know. Yeah, I think if Data's a hologram, it's just a simulation. It's just Picard. Oh, load Picard Data 1. So that he likes to occasionally just sit down and play cards with Data. Chronos asks Darren if he knows the definition of a smartphone. Chronos says, Data isn't alive? No, Data is a machine. Sorry, that's just the way it works. And there goes the chat again. I'm sorry, I'm way, let's see. What is, all right, I'm just going to read the ones addressed to me because I'm so far behind. I apologize, guys. This is not your fault, but I'm struggling. When the Blazing Shadows did this happen? What, Data not being alive? He never was. See what I did? Yes, I know, and that is coming too. I'm confused too, Anti-Trekker. Yes, I think we're all a little confused today. Darren says, the classic Twilight Zone episodes, The Lonely, perfectly encapsulates my feelings on Data and Voyager's Doctor. Watch that one, 22 minutes long, and you'll get the idea. Well, tell me the point. I'm sure I'll remember it. My mind was blown by Endgame. Auntie is doing yoga. Well, that's some very comfortable looking yoga, although 10 minutes ago maybe it was something. Who is Auntie? Oh, ain't it? Ain't it? Wow. Is de-aging creepy because we know it's not really what the actor looks like, or because the effect on its own is creepy? If you saw a de-aged person, you had no idea who was old. Well, here's the thing, Darren. You're right. Here's what's creepy. It's creepy because it's a flawed technology, at least the way they applied it in Star Trek. Like, the de-aging I didn't find creepy in, say, Captain Marvel with Samuel L. Jackson. I think they did a really good job. However, the problem is that the Data that we saw in that last shot of the Picard trailer didn't look quite right. So we knew who it was, even though it didn't look like that person, and that's why it becomes creepy. So granted, if I had never seen Star Trek before, and I didn't know who Data was, and I didn't know who Brent Spiner was, and I saw that shot, I wouldn't think it was creepy at all, except for, wow, what's with the yellow skin and the bright eyes? And Kronos loves Fat Thor. I actually did too. Dr. Alex says, Anti-Checker lives. I do, at least for now. Go in for the knee procedure later this week. Let's see. Rock Solid says, I agree, Infinity War was much better than Endgame. I don't know. I think that I did like Infinity War a lot. And I haven't... The problem is Endgame has a level of spectacle that Infinity War doesn't. That whole moment with the on your... When Falcon says on your left in Endgame, I got chills. And that whole sequence of the battle being joined was so freaking awesome that I think that covers up any mistakes in the film. And I would agree that the everything with Captain Marvel and the all-girl Avengers Power Hour were bad, but I think that what was good outweigh. Like I would say this about comparing Endgame to Infinity War. Endgame had some things that were worse than anything we saw in Infinity War, but Endgame had some things that were better than anything we saw in Infinity War. So it's kind of hard for me to compare the two. Knights of the Old Republic 2, they're armored troopers as well. I didn't know that. With respect, MCU Thor has never been all that accurate. He's supposed to be 50% Superman, 50% Conan the Barbarian. What we got was something very different. Yes, I would agree that the Thor in the MCU is definitely not Thor from the comics. On that, we can agree, Darren. And I think it's just because the Thor from the comics, I don't think would work well in film. And I think they know that. Kronos says, hey, Trigger, please be fair to Black Adam. He still has to wait for the movie. Oh, yeah, I know. Poor Black Adam. The new Spider-Man might as well be a chick. Wow, Stan. I don't agree, but okay. I actually really like Tom Holland as Spider-Man. Bonjour, mon friend ami Luc Flovac, says Dr. Alex. So much as I would like to talk about it, there are some people that haven't seen it yet. I know. And that's why try not to talk about it too much, but hey, the movie's out on home video in the US. I think anybody that really wanted to see it has seen it. I saw the all-female Avengers moment as just an extension of the same kind of moment from Infinity War with Widow, Okoye, and Wanda. But you see, the difference here, and this is one of the things I will agree that Infinity War did better than Endgame. The moment with Okoye, Black Widow, and Wanda felt natural. It just felt like, hey, the three of them happened to bump into each other in the middle of the fight. I didn't have a problem with that. However, to have 10 people all gather together at the same time, and all the girls and none of the guys, I'm sorry, that was just stupid. Don't tell me that there was not a single male hero that wanted to help save the day. But is Captain Marvel fast enough to get mom jeans off of MCU Aunt May? Good question. I think Alexander would want to answer that question, but I would, yeah, Aunt May needs a complete extreme fashion makeover. Maybe she's like a diesel engine and has sluggish acceleration. That could be. She's strong, just not very smart. Well, that could also be. Danvers couldn't throw the Stark Gauntlet into the sun because the stones had to go back. Oh, that's true. But she could have... that's actually a good point, Darren. But she still could have left the battle site, led them on a merry chase to the other side of the galaxy, and then come back and given them time to... do their thing. Schromer says, greetings, Antric and fellow nerds, and greetings to anti-stalker of treats, occasional barker, sniffer of bottom, sleeper extraordinaire, and puppet mistress of Turtistan. Hey, Schromer, good to see you. Great, your anti-slogan is definitely coming along. I think we might have to make a t-shirt or something out of that. And I'm actually looking into doing some t-shirt things, so... Hail Kuroga! What's left of it after the war? Anyway, yes, Kuroga is still licking their wounds. Doomcock predicated the time travel event at the end of Endgame to undo all the deaths. It kind of cheapens their sacrifice from the last movie. Well, predicted the time travel. Well, a lot of people predicted the time travel thing, and here's why. They had to do something. And I understand that, some people feel like it was a cheat because they killed everybody at the end of Endgame, or of Infinity War, and brought them back in Endgame. But think about that for a minute. They killed pretty much all of their new franchises in an instant, right? They killed Black Panther, they killed Doctor Strange, they killed frickin' Spider-Man, they killed most of the Guardians of the Galaxy, right? They killed a lot of characters in the snap. And it was an intense and scary moment. However, nobody thought that they weren't going to bring Black Panther back after Black Panther just made over $1 billion at the box office. I mean, come on. Nobody thought that they weren't bringing Spider-Man back. Nobody, everybody knew that the characters were indeed coming back. But it still made for a wonderfully dramatic moment. A death of a main character where they don't come back, unfortunately, is exceedingly rare. And nobody complains about how cheap the death of Spock was since they brought him back in the next movie. I still think the death of Spock in Star Trek II is a very powerful moment. And I think the finger snap in Infinity War was a powerful moment. Kronos would love free money. I would as well. That would be very good. Endgame also shattered Thor's arc from Ragnarok. He had finally settled into his leadership role at the end. And at the end of Endgame, he elects to be a wandering idiot instead. That I'll also give you, Darren, that I think that's a fair point in that the end of Ragnarok, it seemed like Thor was ready to be king of Asgard, but then he turns that honor over to Valkyrie for some reason, which I understand they're doing it so that, they don't have to have Thor tied to Asgard, but I kind of agree. I think that was... that there could have been a smoother transition there. Yeah. Endgame, for the most part, tried to focus on the original Avengers, which was nice. Thor, Cap, Iron Man, and a bit of Hulk, Widow, and Hawkeye on the side. I agree, and that was actually my favorite thing about it, was that the film did focus on the original Avengers. And really, that's what it needed to be. If you started the story with the original Avengers, you need to end the story with the original Avengers. Nicole says, I need to really read when I buy another keyboard. This has a light behind the keys, but it's wanting lit keys, lights on the keys so I can tell you, but was wanting lit keys, lights in the keys so I can type in the dark. Gotcha. So yeah, you want backlit keyboard, but where the letters are glowing, but you got one where it's just like the keyboard glows, and so you can't necessarily see the letters. Roxanne says they already discounts out there for the Note 10. I'll see if I can find it. Also, Windows CE was out there for smartphones in 2009 or earlier. I don't remember exactly when it was, but 2009 was 10 years ago, and so 12 years ago would have been 2007, and I don't think that Windows phones were out yet, but I don't know. BlackBerry Palm was a thing for a while. Yes, BlackBerry was the preferred phone of business for a long time. What is a lore? Lore is a prostitute from Kuroga, and that's actually true. We have footage of it. I don't remember what number the super chat is, but yes, we have actual footage from Kuroga of prostitute lore. The OG Stormtrooper armor isn't white, it just looks white to normal eyes. The race that made the armor made it to shimmer in every color of the rainbow, ultraviolet colors. I didn't know that little piece of lore, but okay. Mined a bunch of sill, dumped it into the refinery, took forever to refine. Oh, silicon. Okay. Well, that's always good. Thank you, Nicole. We can always use more silicon. I assume you've come to our space base. You're not still down on the planet. Although if you are on the planet, that's cool. We just need to start transporting stuff up to the space base because I think we're relatively well fortified now, even though I still have some more defenses to build. Anybody remember the Palm line of PDA smartphones? Yeah, there's actually a new Palm, isn't there? I thought I saw it looks like a mini version of the Palm Pilot. My second-hand 4th gen Moto G cost 40 pounds off of eBay. Well, then you pay too much. What is a smartphone? It's not a dumb phone. What I need is a smartphone. What I need with a smartphone is more internal memory. Yeah, and the problem is, like, I know Apple iPhones are very, very popular, but you can't upgrade the memory, which sucks. That's one of the reasons I do like the Samsung phones, because you can put memory cards in them. Smartphones are turning Americans into dopamine junk zombies. Not just Americans. Or just Picard dreaming or hallucinating. Oh, as far as the data thing, Yeah, I still think hologram. I don't think that they're going to have Picard having hallucinations just yet. Passed out from drinking too much Chateau Picard. Wow, that's a lot of Chateau Picard. How much does Chateau Picard cost? No freaking clue. So you do not believe in sentient machine life? I do not. So I think that I do not believe that a machine is capable of a subjective experience. Darren says, The Lonely was about a man sentenced to life in prison on a prison asteroid. A supply guy takes pity on him and gives him a robot woman. He comes to think that she's alive, and at the end, she isn't. Gotcha. If we ever go to war with machines of their own creation, I'm choosing to join the machines. Okay, Bradley. Good luck with that. You just data a person. You just data a person. You just data a Kronos? No kill eye. Enter. Some have a theory that Data had himself stored on the ship's computer. Now, that's the Star Wars theory of the Millennium Falcon nav computer. But yeah. The worst thing in Endgame was Hulk's breakfast burrito, at least in the trailer, that it looked like they improved the burrito CGI in time for release. Don't forget to hit the like button, share via socials, donate if you can, down with Kuroga, but if you need stuff from Amazon, make sure to use Bird's Amazon affiliate link, hashtag take the high road. Very good, Rock Solid. That was a good one. I got chills with Rogers and the Hammer Ant Tracker, as well as the On Your Left. Yes. On Your Left was probably my favorite individual moment, although Rogers and the Hammer was a great one, but it was a little spoiled by what, in my opinion, was some substandard visual effects in that shot, which I'll get to whenever I get to do a review of it. A copy of Data or you on the ship's computer isn't the original or clone, in my opinion, so don't expect yourself to be alive after you upload your consciousness to the cloud. Well, that's very true, and I don't plan on uploading my consciousness to the cloud. I'm ashamed that Bird was watching my bumbles. Well, you shouldn't be. Bird watches everybody's bumbles as much as he can. That's all he does. Dan says, well, when a big battle was going on in Infinity War, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. were on a spaceship above the planet at the same time trying to stop someone else. So is that what they say now? Okay. Admiral Villar says, greetings, Trigger. Still a pain in the ass? Yes. Darren says, the most ridiculous inclusion of the all-girl shot in Endgame was alternate Gamora. She wouldn't know any of them except Nebula. That is actually true. That's kind of funny. Is that why was Gamora in that shot where she's just like, who are these people? And Kronos says, I can speak for Alexander. Okay. Let's see. Has anyone else seen the price of the Star Trek Discovery cast is charging for photos at Star Trek Vegas? There, Martin Green, etc., charging more than Shatner. That is ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. But I can actually kind of understand it because the problem is that they're not going to have as many people wanting autographs, but the people that they will want that are going to want their autographs are going to probably want them for political reasons, so they can charge more and just think of it as a political fundraiser. Well, not really. Just thought I could be friendly. Okay. What would you like to see in Guardians of the Galaxy 3? I want to see lots and lots of Fat Thor. I want to see Fat Thor and Peter Quill arguing over stuff. And I absolutely do not want to see Gamora. Even though I'm sad she's gone, I think that I do not want them to cheapen that one. Gamora's death was a serious event in the lives of the rest of the Guardians. Let them mourn and move on. And even though, I'm sorry, Zoe Saldana, but, your character should stay dead. I use Teespring for my shirt sales, but I have a local company to do my personal shirts. What I would do, Rock Solid, honestly, what I'm looking into is printing them myself rather than using Teespring or something, because quite frankly, the quality I've seen from places like Teespring isn't that great, and for the quality, you're paying too much. If I print them myself, I can sell the shirts for less than it would cost people to buy them from Teespring, and I would make more. So it's a win-win. The correct answer to that is, of course, I am Groot. Let's see. Time travel was inevitable, yes. Or was time travel Iron Man? Very, very good answer, Stanley, to your own rhetorical question that wasn't even really a question. So, yeah. Andrew, do you think they should have left Spock dead in Trek canon? Honestly, yes. I think that Spock should have stayed dead. I do think Star Trek 3 was a good movie overall, but I do think that it was you could have done Star Trek 3 without calling it The Search for Spock. You could have called it, The Search for Genesis or something, and left the Spock aspect out of it. But it is what it is. I don't get how there was a crack in the warp chamber door in Wrath of Khan nitpick, because it was not made out of the blast door materials from Discovery. I'll be honest, I got the same feeling when I walked out of Infinity War that I did when I walked out of the theater after seeing Empire Strikes Back in 1980. Yeah, exactly. And that's actually, people don't realize, like, Empire Strikes Back, most of us fans had to wait 3 years to see what the heck happened to Han in Carbonite, to Luke dealing with the fact that Vader is his dad, all that stuff. We had to wait 3 freaking years to find the answers to that. And when Return of the Jedi came out, we finally got those answers. Now, some people think that Empire Strikes Back is the best of Star Wars. I happen to think Return of the Jedi is best of Star Wars. So maybe that's why I'm a little more biased towards Endgame over Infinity War. So many cameos, so many well-blended characters. Yes, that is very true. Let's see. Could you imagine how pissed Nimoy would have been if he got himself killed in part 2 and then the series ends up going for another 4 films? Well, Nimoy didn't want to do it in the first place. The only reason he agreed to do Star Trek 2 is because they were willing to kill him off. Spock in his prime versus Luke hand-to-hand and no lightsaber. Probably I would have to give it to Spock. I think that obviously Luke's Jedi mind trick and stuff would not work on Spock because he is definitely not weak-minded. Spock is somewhat telepathic in and of himself, and while Luke has some limited telekinetic abilities, Spock's sheer physical prowess, I think, would be enough. I added a landing pad outside of your office that gets more sunlight than the other one. Maybe building your ship there would be better. Thank you, Thomas. I will check it out. Cinnabon is in the house. Says hello to everyone. Hey, Cinnabon. Good to see you, my friend. Watch out for Kurogans. They are the enemy of all now. So just to be, just so you know. Wait, just Americans are making smartphones? No, most of them are being made in Japan, actually. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., or is it other Asian countries? Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. People then bring back, like, Coulson and Fitz. Yeah, and that's the thing. As far as I'm concerned, Coulson is dead. He died in the Avengers, and he has not come back in another Marvel film. And that's actually where you can tell that there is actually a separation in the continuity from film and television, because in the films, they never mention Coulson coming back. The Palm Pre, Plus, Beer, Pre 2, Pre 3, and Touchpad were all amazing devices. Well, I actually never had any Palm devices. Ozzy says, hey, Trigger and chat, I'm curious to see the Federation ships in Picard to see if they are 25% different. I don't think I don't think we're going to even see any starships, to be honest with you, yeah. My 4th generation Moto G has 128 gigabytes of storage. They lie about the SD card limits. Well, I don't know about the Moto G, Dr. Alex, but
I have got something better.
And Yosa puts €2 into the chat. Thank you so much. What's the name of the stream? Just joined. You could see it. It's wow, what a great title for a live stream. That's the name of the stream, because I'm completely out of ideas at this point. The part where Thor tells Cap to have the little one is the best. That was hilarious. That was a fun little moment for Thor. Hashtag why is Gamora? Yes. Don't knock Lore. His grading to Wrecking Ball, his cheeky revealing little number inspired our Kurogan troops to run screaming into the teeth of Turtistani gunfire, crying for death. Oh, is that why they did that? Okay. I don't have a problem with AOS. slower? Kronos, you lost me. Kronos says, LOL, Fat Thor is my idol now. Yes, absolutely. It's about time we had a fat superhero so us fat people could identify with it. The cast of Star Trek Discovery would like a crossover with the Picard show. Ugh, no, thank you. No freaking thank you. Dan says, what would you like from Doctor Who? Same thing I want from Star Trek. Good stories. Rather than the politically charged crap they've been feeding us for the last couple of years. And so I haven't watched, I watched like the first 2 episodes of The Last Doctor, did not care for her at all. Unfortunately, Capaldi started out, I liked him a bit, but then as he just became more and more politically motivated, and I was just done. I can't stand it. There wasn't a crack, was there? I thought Kirk just switched on the intercom to be heard by Spock. I'm not sure. I have to go back and rewatch it. Maybe there is, like, if you see in one shot that there's a crack in the plexiglass or something. Laughable Larry says, I think episode 1 was the best of Star Wars. Well, you're wrong. And just saying. And Stan Lee said, that's my point. Not sure what was his point because I'm so far behind. I'm trying to catch up. For me, the only Star Wars movie is Star Wars from 1977. The youngins today refer to it as A New Hope, but I still call it Star Wars. Well, me too. It is called Star Wars. That was the theatrical release title of the film, was Star Wars. It was not Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. Is it wrong to have a Jaloja now? Only if you're standing in a crowd, I suppose. So Joseph says, well, so what's the name of the stream? Already said that, and just joined number 23. You got it, my friend, because number 23 is freaking awesome. There it is, the day Discovery died. So Coulson is not dead. Coulson is life. Sorry, Kronos. Coulson is definitely dead. Agents of Chit are still a thing. Yes, as far as I know, there's still one more season coming. Have you gone to see Wesley's Pyramid yet? I have not. I don't know where it is. So if Wesley built, so was that at the request of BIRDOPREY, so Wesley built a pyramid for him, but you know that seems like kind of cheating if you guys are building stuff for the Kurogans. Best palm device, TV remote. Very true. The Empire Strikes Back, but the Rebels had a shield, yet the Empire could walk right up to it and blow it up. The Empire Strikes Back, the Rebels had a shield, yet the Empire could walk right up to it and blow it up. Oh, yeah, you're talking about on Hoth. That's true. But that's because, for whatever reason, that particular shield was simply designed to deflect aerial assaults or space assaults. So the shield was like above the base, but not at the ground level, which makes no freaking sense whatsoever. So they basically just forced the Empire to do a ground assault, which was, of course, completely successful. And then we saw the same thing repeated, of course, in The Last Jedi. Let's see. Luke, right after return, learned Force Lightning. His telekinetic powers are off the charts, like blasting away entire companies of soldiers with one Force blast. Spock would be piecemeal. Except that what you're citing there, Darth, is not in the films anywhere. And so I cannot go by extended universe stuff because A, I don't read it, and B, it's not officially canon anyway. So from what we've seen of Luke Skywalker, he did not have the ability to destroy entire companies of soldiers with one Force blast. Sorry. My personal phone is a Soem XP5. It is a phone and a blunt force weapon. Well, okay. What's your opinion of the Eagle Moss XL versus regular Federation Starship line build quality? I don't know the regular Federation Starship line build quality versus the XL. I don't know the difference, Darth Maul. How are things on the health front? Hopefully trudging towards a better place. Well, yes. Well, there's some good news. I see Auntie is actually awake. Hey, girl. The colonoscopy went well. They didn't find anything bad, so that's a good thing. As far as the back and the knee, I begin procedures for that in a couple of days. I'm very much looking forward to getting the procedures done. I am not looking forward to the procedures themselves. So, like this Thursday, apparently they're going to inject some gelatinous fluid into my knee, and it sounds very uncomfortable, but I got to deal with it. And in fact, next Thursday is going to be a ridiculously busy day. Let me, oh man. All right, Doctor Who, I'll see what I can do. All right, Dr. Alex, yeah, you work on that. Mr. Carter, Ed Checker, did you see the video of Erica Thomas, the rep from Georgia, the whole Publix debacle? Sinatra says he did a great breakdown of it. I have not. Didn't hear anything about Erica Thomas or Publix. Send me a link if you got it. I'm curious now. How do you think the walkers landed on Hoth in Empire Strikes Back? The same way the walkers landed on Crate in The Last Jedi. Off screen because there's no way to do it. Be careful, Bird is watching. Oh, he doesn't scare me. And let's see. Hemsworth loves playing Fat Thor because he doesn't have to bust his ass in a weight room to play Thor anymore. Well, I think it would just be fun. I think Hemsworth has a good time doing it, but well, yeah. Schromer says the Catholic Church are looking into making G.K. Chesterton a saint. He was a 6'2", 300-pound cigar-smoking, whiskey-drinking writer. He also wrote about a cape carrying a gun and sword. He also walked about in a cape carrying a gun and sword. Well, that's bizarre, Stromer. That's very bizarre. Okay, this one is good. Stanley, not sure what you mean, but okay. Let me see. And let's see. -1's Star Wars 1977 is my Star Wars. Okay. Yes. Windows Mobile premiered in 2000. Windows CE was even earlier. I had computers in phones for years before I got sick. iPhones just lost the keyboards. Well, I know iPhones was the big thing about iPhones was the touch screen, but I didn't think that the Windows Mobile was that old. I mean, I know that basically mobile computing calling it computing was kind of a stretch, but yeah. Chrono says, agree to disagree about Coulson and Trigger. He was saved by Quantum, so there. Well, except that it's funny because if you look at anything produced by Marvel Studios in film and anything produced on Netflix or on CBS, they don't interact, right? The Netflix and CBS stuff will make reference to the films to create the illusion that they're in the same universe. But the films never, ever, ever make direct reference to what happens on Netflix or CBS. So, hope the repairs go smoothly. I do too. How long will you be out of action before we understand if your channel goes dark to look after yourself? I'm going to try not to, Black Adam. I mean, I'm going to try Thursday night to do a live stream like normal. I'll just be probably very uncomfortable. And it's not like I've been getting a lot of content out lately. You guys have been so kind to me, but I mean, I've been dealing with this pain for too damn long, and I'm just so it makes it difficult to get anything done. Will you be playing the new Lego Star Trek Wars game when it comes out? I didn't hear about it, but if there's an actual Star Trek Wars game coming out, I might check it out. When you go in for your procedures, Trigger, will there also be trying to cure your rectal cranial inversion? Wow, that's just mean. Loving your channel. Thanks for what you do. Thank you. None of your business. Even though it's none of your business. Anti returns to the pad. Yes, Anti, you see, she is definitely, she's very, very active today. She actually moved. We need a super chat where Anti-Checker is trying to read chats and just blanks out and antichecker.exe pops up on the screen. You're mean. I am not a computer program. I am not a I am not a computer program. I am not programmed to respond in that area. I am just guessing about Rebel's shield on Hoth. It may have deflected energy fire, but unable to deflect physical objects. The AT-AT just walked through the shield until able to fire. I don't know. The only thing they really said was that the shield would, because remember the Rebels, as soon as they say activate the energy shield, prepare for a ground assault, and then of course they said on the bridge of the Star Destroyer that there's a shield over a certain part of the planet. It's capable of deflecting any bombardment, and so then Vader orders a surface attack. Now, based on the dialogue, well, if it could deflect any bombardment, that would seem to include physical bombs as well as energy attacks. So I think that it's just that the shield was like an umbrella, but not a true like shield that protects all around them. Let's see. BIRDOPREY, LOL. What did BIRDOPREY say? Well, who cares? Did you grind down the red chair? Okay. Anybody who wants to read the definitive Marvel Comics Thor should pick up Walt Simonson Thor Omnibus hardcover on Amazon or your local comic shop. Yeah, well, I haven't read that one, but because I've never been a huge Thor fan in the comics. I mean, I liked him when I thought he was all right in Secret Wars. I liked him when he guest starred a couple of times on Fantastic Four, but yeah, never been a big Thor guy. Let's see. I don't ever listen to you. Why not? You can't. Thursday, you're sitting in your chair. Don't bend it when is your actual OP. Well, Thursday is like with the knee, it's a 3-part procedure. The first part is this Thursday, and so I don't know what's going to happen there, but I will try. If I'm physically capable to do it, I will do a stream on Thursday, and I'll let you guys know how I'm doing at that point. If I'm not physically capable of doing a live stream, I'll probably just record something from my bed, just saying, hey guys, sorry, can't do it. Will there be time travel in episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker's Penis? I hope not, Uncle Ramus, but I would not be surprised if there is. Jarvis and Agent Carter was in Endgame and Coulson. In Captain Bree, I know, a prequel. Well, yeah, Captain Bree was a prequel, but in this. And I'll give you the Jarvis thing was now I haven't seen Agent Carter and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so I don't. I've heard that Jarvis makes an appearance in those shows. However, that is more along the lines of an Easter egg as opposed to it actually mattering. Just noticed a Stargate behind me. Yes, Stargate technology behind me right now. Mr. Miles isn't here, but I did it for him because he loves Stargate. I know you're struggling, Anti-Tricker. I do. Everything gets better soon. Thank you, Dr. Alex, and I appreciate that. It would be better if maybe your mead would freaking show up. Through the Erica Thomas link in General Tab on Discord after the stream. Thank you, Rock Solid. I will check it out if I can. And, in fact, I'll go... I mean... Man, I hate go to general and man, hold on, guys. I just want to make sure that I have the link there. I don't see it, Roxal. Let me see. Shocking recent time British husbands sold their wives on the market. Yeah, I don't see it, Rock Solid. But... Or are you saying you will throw it in after the stream? Is it me or does Lore pronounce shields as... yeah, shield is how he says it. Lore Reloaded says shield as shield, which is something that for a long time on this channel we would not let him ever hear the end of, is shields. And Bradley says, I only tease people I love. I understand. I'm the same way. I make fun of a lot of you guys because I care about you. Best Thor appeared in Adventures in Babysitting. Don't think I've seen that one. Cinema, no, I just went down to grind down the green chair and it's all gone. Giant crater instead of inside the pyramid. So, wait a minute. So, Bird got a pyramid and he's breaking it? Wow. Most of the ideas conveyed in the MCU films relating to Thor have come from the Walt Sampson run. Things like, however you say that, the Dark Elf, Malekith, Curse, Stormbreaker, Ragnarok were all from his run. I did not know that. Who is Adam Moon at Trigger? R.E. Marvel, Keanu Reeves, rumor. Well, Keanu Reeves, Adam Moon, isn't that Moon Knight? Or is that someone else? I'm losing my brain. Which Keanu Reeves would actually make a great Moon Knight, but let's take a look. Adam Moon. Let's see. I think what you mean is Adam Warlock. It looks like so. Is because I see Moon Knight listed and I see Adam Warlock. But I think Keanu would make be great at either one. Chronos, hey, are you turning into Bird? No, I'm just, this has been a very rough couple of weeks, but yeah. Stem cells can literally reverse the aging process. Okay. I don't think that that's necessarily confirmed, but okay. From the clips I've seen, do you think they make fun of Thor's depression? I like the wee bit where he met his mother, thought that was sad, the future hasn't been kind to you. I don't think that I mean, you know what? Thor is definitely depressed in the film, and some people think that him being fat is like this huge joke at the expense of mental illness. However, I find it to be refreshing because that is exactly how a person like Thor would react. He genuinely believed that, and he was right, that he could have killed Thanos and failed to do so, causing the deaths of half the sentient life in the universe. And so, based on that, I think that Thor's depression was completely justified and earned. And no, I don't think they were just making fun of depression. That's how some people react. I'm like that. Like, I tend to want to eat more when I'm depressed. And so Mrs. Antitrekker is having to fight me constantly because I'm trying to eat more because I've been depressed lately. But no, I actually, I kind of appreciated that. Anyway, Jarvis is a main character in Agent Carter. Okay, I didn't know that, but I haven't watched it. Speaking of Mead Check, they're selling this next weekend, and I don't know what this is, but let me see. Something from Comic-Con. Skyrim, German mead. Okay. Well, I'm sure it's yummy, but I won't be getting it. This is during the stream, not after the stream. I know, rock solid. I was just making sure. Damn postal service. I know. What's up with that? You Brits can't deliver anything. Thomas, I think what Antitrekker means is that Jarvis in Endgame was a cameo glorified Easter egg and didn't matter overall to Endgame. Correct, Vile Mike. Thank you for clarifying my clumsy words. Darren says, Antitrekker, who would you want to be the voice of Dr. Doom in a hypothetical MCU appearance? Well, I don't think there's anything hypothetical about the fact that Doom is coming eventually. As far as who could do the voice, I don't know. You know, honestly, and I know this sounds crazy to some people, but I think that in his older age and his maturity, he would actually be a good pick. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Because Doom is from the same region. Arnold could work with his accent instead of constantly be trying to fight it. And in his last couple of movies that I've seen him in, he's actually done much better as far as acting. So I think Schwarzenegger could make a good voice of Doom. Joseph says, you never called me a jerk. I do not feel appreciated enough. I'm sorry about that, Joseph. I mean, you are a jerk, but I didn't mean to not call you a jerk because I was being polite, I think. Entry, the actor who played Private Pyle in Full Metal Jacket and the Kingpin on the Punisher show played a Thor lookalike in Adventures in Babysitting. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. And now you made me forget his name, but I know exactly who you're talking about. Man, he was good in as Kingpin. No, oh gosh, what is? No, it's going to drive me crazy.
I have got something better.
And Nightbreeze throws a couple of bucks in, says hashtag me poo and all hail the Hypnoturd. All right, give me just a minute. Let me try to get a little more caught up, and then I will put some Hypnoturd goodness on. Adam Warlock. Yes, Adam Warlock. I think Keanu would make a good choice. The Avengers make fun of Thor because he is their friend. Wesley Wesson, are you feeling all right? No, Wesley, I feel like crap, but thank you for asking. In the battle at the end of the shield in the Phantom Menace allowed battle droids to walk through it, but their weapons had no effect. Well, they could kind of push their way through it, that is true, but that is also older tech. And it's funny because the shields are very inconsistent in Star Wars, so yeah. Thor also lost the majority of his people, too. That is true. Thor had a lot to be depressed about. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying his depression wasn't justified. As someone who's battled serious depression and suicide for years, I had no issues with Fat Thor. Exactly, Rex. And I'll tell you, I've fought depression before. I'm dealing with depression right now. And I actually find Thor refreshingly real as a person suffering with depression. People think depression just means you're like, all the time. And that can be a sign of depression, but really what you see in Thor is classic depression right there. The denial, the outbursts, the compulsive eating, compulsive distractions with things like video games and stuff like that, shutting himself off from others. Everything he did in Endgame was symptomatic of depression. And so I actually give them a lot of credit for that. I think Fat Thor can be jokey, but also slip back to his old self when it's appropriate. The character is fine. If he is what I fear he's being turned into, he's a disaster. Well, we'll see what happens in either Guardians 3 or Thor 4. And Nightbreeze puts in that $2 for the Hypnoturd, so the Hypnoturd is what we've got to do here. All hail the Hypnoturd. You must love the Hypnoturd, for the Hypnoturd is love, the Hypnoturd is life, the Hypnoturd is you, for you are the Hypnoturd. You and the Hypnoturd are one. You cannot resist the Hypnoturd. You must give to the Hypnoturd. Thank you, Nightbreeze. I do appreciate it. I think Doom and Magneto should be Eastern Europeans, if not Russian. I agree. I think Eastern Europeans, neither of them are Russian. Latveria is Eastern Europe, but we don't know exactly where. But that's why I think Arnold would actually be a good choice. As far as Magneto, he should really have a German accent. And Trigger always calls his friends jerks. That is very true. Let's see. Valor says, I have been in a debate with my sister about Star Trek shuttlecraft and runabouts. Could easily handle dozens of TIE fighters and X-Wings, but she said they would destroy them easily. Your take? Well, a shuttlecraft, it depends on which era you're talking about. Like, for example, in the original series shuttle, we never really see that shuttle fire a weapon. However, there are rumors and non-canon sources that show that they have phasers. But as far as the later era stuff, like with the shuttles that we've seen in DS9 and Voyager, particularly Voyager, they definitely have phasers. And so as such, they would just slice through TIE fighters and X-Wings like nobody's business. There's a couple of main factors. One is the shuttle's relative speed is much greater. Keep in mind that while X-Wings are capable of hyperspace jumps, hyperspace is not normal space, and so you cannot effectively have combat in hyperspace. However, warp drive, which all Federation shuttles are equipped with, they can in fact engage in combat while at warp. Number 2, the weapons range. The range of a phaser is somewhere in the order of 100 to 200,000 kilometers. We've gotten some conflicting information on it. However, back in the original series, they were targeting and destroying targets at 100,000 kilometers and greater. So it's pretty safe to say that the range of a phaser is at least 100,000 kilometers. The maximum range of a turbo laser is somewhere in the order of 10 to 20 kilometers at the most. And that is, and everything we've seen in Star Wars supports this, that the fighters' weapons are definitely short-range weapons. We also have the accuracy problem in that, from what we've seen, it seems that Star Trek weapons are much more precise than Star Wars weapons. And so the fact is that there's such a radical difference in effective range and speed and everything that there is no battle. They're in two completely different categories. So that's, sorry, I know I've rambled on too much on that. Let's see. No, Arnold Doom. Did you see Batman and Robin? What do you think he'd do with Dr. Doom? Personally, I'd find someone like a voice like Alan Rickman, someone who sounds intelligent. Alan Rickman would be great if he were still alive, except that he's English, and Doom should specifically sound Eastern European. And keep in mind, yeah, Arnold was really bad in Batman and Robin. That wasn't because of Arnold's voice. That was because of Joel Schumacher's writing. You know, "Ice to see you." You know, obviously we're not going to be having Dr. Doom be stupid like that. So I do think that his voice can work. I think that you're underestimating him. Look on the bright side. You have us jerks as friends. Well, thanks, Wesley. That helps. And Rock Solid once again says, don't forget, people, hit that like button, share via socials, donate if you can, and down with Karoga. Thank you so much, Rock Solid. I suffer from depression. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, you forgot the booze too, and trigger with Thor's depression. That's very true. People do tend to drink or do drugs more if they are depressed, and so that is also a valid point. Man, looking over at my booze, I haven't had any booze in a while. Maybe it's time to watch some Discovery. And let's see, Edgetrigger, what is, with as big as the galaxy is, I'm surprised Romulans or Cardassians haven't by now sent colonies to the Delta Quadrant. You know, that's a good point. But, you know, unfortunately, and this is a problem in all sci-fi, not just Star Trek. In fact, Star Wars is grotesquely bad about it, is the scale of the galaxy, and the scale of the universe in general. You would think that the galaxy is like the size of one state in the United States based on the density population, the borders, and all that. It's way too small in scale. Star Trek shuttlecraft have warp drive. Shuttle pods are impulse only. I'm not sure. Somebody say that shuttles don't have warp drive, but yes, in fact, and that's the thing. People think that, like, people were upset that Michael Burnham's shuttle had warp drive. I'm sorry, but they did show shuttles with warp drive in the original series. Heck, the Menagerie, that was a major thing, was that the shuttle was following the Enterprise at warp, heading for Talos. The difference is that a shuttle has limited range compared to a starship because it doesn't have the matter-antimatter reactor that a starship does, so it can't just regenerate power indefinitely. Captain Picard mentions in TNG Season 2, outrageous Okana about lasers can't do any damage to the ship. That's true as well, and however, I am not using that as a basis of argumentation against Star Trek versus Star Wars, mainly because the Star Wars hardcore nerd will say, but wait, turbo lasers is just the name of the device. It's not actually a laser, it's a laser-charged plasma discharge weapon. Even though that's not in alpha canon anywhere that I know of, I will accept that turbo lasers are not simple lasers. And you can actually gather that just from the visuals on it too, because if it was a laser, it would be a solid beam, it would not be a bolt. However, a superheated plasma bolt makes more sense. And it also would be consistent with what we've seen, is that blasters tend to burn through whatever they hit. However, people that want to argue that a hand blaster from Star Wars has like 5 megatons of power behind it, and people do make these types of arguments, I'm sorry, if Leia can get shot in the shoulder and not be disintegrated, that ain't true. What would you think of Jean-Claude Van Damme as Doom? That actually could work as well, although his Brussels accent is more akin to a French accent than Eastern European. However, I could see it. So Runabout versus ISS Runabout. Well, if you're talking about like just a regular universe runabout versus a mirror universe runabout, well, the mirror universe, by the time you get to runabouts, the Federation or the Empire has been overthrown, so it's an irrelevant discussion, which is unfortunate because I think that Deep Space Nine, that's one of their biggest mistakes, that show was ruining the mirror universe. In a battle in Star Wars, the Clone Wars, the Republic and CIS are battling it out at 300,000 kilometers in range. And yet, in every movie we've seen, like, for example, in The Last Jedi, we actually got very clear explanation as to the range limitations of the most powerful ships in the First Order. And that range was approximately 16 kilometers. So, you know, I can't speak for that particular episode of the Clone Wars because I haven't watched it. But in primary canon, which is the films, I mean, if you look at the order of canon, if things are contradictory, the films get precedence over all else. Then the television shows, then the authorized books. And so and based on the films, it was very clear, because here's the thing, the entire plot of The Last Jedi revolved around the weapons range of the First Order. With my depression, I comfort eat paying for it now. Yes, I wish, I could eat right now. But Mrs. Antrecker is a good wife. She makes me suffer by not eating, but I know it's only because she loves me and she cares about my health, but it still sucks. Nobody would care about depression if people worked out instead of drinking or eating when they got depressed. Well, that's less people would care. And Darren says, a turbo laser should just be a laser with a turbine in it. Star Wars redefined the weapons to compete with Star Trek fans and arguments. I agree, but I'm going to give that to him because it's not a fight worth having, because based on alpha canon, you can still easily make the point that a turbo laser is clearly inferior to a phaser. Would you like Futurama to make a return? Absolutely. I love Futurama. Is one of my, it's actually my absolute favorite animated series, and one of my favorite shows of all time. I love Futurama. Canonically, there's no such thing as an ISS runabout. That's what I was saying. Yeah, because the Empire had been overthrown. I rather like the DS9 Mirror Universe episodes. Well, Darren, you lost me there because I did not. I wanted to see the Empire. Left the stream for a while, and now you're discussing Star Wars versus Star Trek. Dang. Yeah, I know, Luke. That's one of your favorite topics. Luke gets very passionate about the Star Wars versus Star Trek thing, arguing that the Mon Calamari ships are far superior than Imperial Star Destroyers. But we were actually, and Luke, and you know we've talked about this before, but if you compare the effectiveness of a turbo laser versus a phaser bank, I think that it's very hard to argue that turbo lasers can stand up to a phaser bank as far as a weapon. Now we can argue about, you know, the speed thing. I think is a more interesting argument. But as far as weapons are concerned, I don't think that the Empire can really compete. Warhammer 40k universe actually feels huge in scale, as oftentimes planets go off the grid and then the Imperium I can't discover for over a century because they're doing with so many issues. I haven't played Warhammer 40k, but I've heard it's good with that. Vile Mike says, you cannot discount the Clone Wars just because you have not seen it and or because it's a TV show and not one of the films. The shows are just as canon as the movies, like how... Star Trek films are still canon with Star Trek TV shows. Well, actually, that's an interesting way to put it. Let's talk about that for a second, Vile. Is that Star Wars in its core is a film franchise. Television shows are spin-offs of that film franchise, right? So the Clone Wars and Rebels and all that are basically inspired by the films. However, Star Wars is a film franchise first. Star Trek is a television franchise that then inspired films. So they're kind of the opposite. So what I would suggest is that in actuality, in Star Trek, it would be the opposite. You would take primary canon, would be the television series, then films, then authorized books, etc. And whereas Star Wars, it starts with film, then television, then authorized books. And so, no, I don't think that I'm being inconsistent at all in that respect. I think that they both go by the same, the same process. It's just that one started as a film franchise and one started as a television franchise. And as far as not taking into account just because I haven't seen it, I cannot take into account anything that I am not witness to, right? So it's like saying that, hey, you know what, you didn't take into account the fact that on the dark side of the moon there's a German from the 1940s base. Well, of course I'm not taking that into account because I have never seen nor been exposed to said base, so I can't take that into account. However, I will say that I think that the Trek technology is clearly superior from everything that we have seen. Since I'm punishing you by having you eat healthier, I guess I'll just leave these triple chocolate brownies I just made for Joshua. Wait, what triple chocolate brownies? You didn't tell me about triple chocolate brownies, babe. I didn't mean it. I'm kidding. Night Breeze, have you seen the new series The Boys on Amazon? I have not. I've seen a couple of commercials for it, but trying to convince Mrs. Anti-Checker to watch it with me has been a bit of an uphill battle. So you'd have to talk her into it. I don't know if it's any good, but I hope it is. Now everybody's talking to Mrs. Anti-Trekker, of course. You know, it wouldn't take much to restore the Terran Empire in the Mirror Universe. All you would have to need is to have yesterday's Enterprise-like event there that went the other way. That's true, and that would be a smart move if in the Picard series. That would actually be interesting. What if you built the Picard series over, and let's say that in the Mirror Universe, when the Hobus star went nova, that the Romulans then, instead of just being wiped out, the Romulans evacuated their homeworld and invaded the rest of the Alpha Quadrant and took over or something, and now they're expanding into our universe because that Hobus Nova is going to destroy everything there. Yes, Auntie. Auntie is so excited about that she's shaking. Mrs. Antrigger just won the internet. Of course she did. I did typo, originally meant to say Runabout versus Imperial Star Destroyer. Okay. Runabout would win judging on the weapons range alone. I think that the Runabout would, in fact... You see, the problem with the Runabout versus Imperial Star Destroyer is, yes, the Runabout can stay well outside of an ISD's maximum range. TIE fighters and stuff have no shields and are sublight only, which means that the Runabout would very easily pick them off at a distance. And so it would not take that much. How does one win the interwebs? Well, for one thing, just be Mrs. Anti-Checker. Let's see. Where was I? Man, I hate that. Okay. You could just distribute them to us in the chat, at least in the form of a recipe and a hello. Well, that's true. I'm sure it's a low-carb brownie, which, you know, she makes some great low-carb food, although I still miss real food. Well, you know my position about it. Star Wars tech is unreliable and inconsistent in many ways, and it's not the focus of the IP. It also has a distinct, grounded, and used tech feeling. Yeah, and they're different franchises. And don't get me wrong, when we start talking about this versus this or this versus this, to me it's an exercise in observation and just analysis. However, that doesn't mean that Star Wars is better or worse than Star Trek based on who would win in a straight-up fight. Because, just like I've said, the replicators in SG-1, I think, would defeat the Borg. That doesn't make the replicators better than the Borg. It just means that they would beat in a straight-up fight. But I do preface that by saying the replicators after their evolution into the humanoid form. The original replicators, I think, would lose to the Borg. Well, let's see. Tom saying, Mrs. Antricker, hello. You should do that and have Joshua eat them in front of Antricker. Wow. Wow, that's just mean. Night Breeze saying hi to Mrs. Antricker. Everybody likes her better than me. Black Adam says, Moo Puppy Cam is covering half her face. Moo Puppy Cam is... Oh, I see. Yeah, I'm a little off. I was like... Because the puppy is running all around. Let's see. Now all this discussion leads me to ask, hey, Entricker, favorite Python movie and why? Tough one, but I would probably have to say The Meaning of Life. I just think the Meaning of Life is, it's gross, it's hilarious, it's irreverent, it's just a fun movie. And while I don't agree with everything they say politically in the movie, I think that it's actually really good. So if I had to pick a Monty Python movie, it would be Meaning of Life. Triple chocolate brownies. Pause the stream. I tell you, it's tempting. But I'll be done with the stream shortly, and then I'll find out about these brownies that Mrs. Anti-Trigger speaks of. This means that the the Star Wars vision on tech is bound to produce inferior equipment compared to Star Trek tech. Further, the Empire ships have been designed to be beaten by the Rebels. Well, and I mean, as far as when you say designed to be beaten, I know you mean from a filmmaker's standpoint. But if you look at, from a straight-up tech perspective, the Imperial Star Destroyer, it is an impressive vehicle. It's just not impressive when you compare it to the tech of a starship. It was not designed to take on the Enterprise. It was designed to take on, ships in its own universe. The Iron Sky movies rock, Antrigger. The Germans on the moon and the Russians on Mars. What could possibly go wrong? Anti-backpedaling like a champ. Oh, I'm not backpedaling. How am I backpedaling? Wait. Bird has a summer house on the far side of the moon? Yes, that's a lot of people don't realize that. But Antrigger, you've seen it. Turtistan is using it in Space Engineer. Wait. Using... what? You lost me. The Boys only 8 episodes, not much of a commitment. Yeah, but is it any good? Let's see. I would love to be a fast reader. So would I. Josh saying hi to Mrs. Anti-Trekker because everybody likes her better. Let's see. I started watching episode 1 the other day, and early on, a Flash-like hero causes a woman to explode by running into her. Wow, that's crazy. Auntie was going to explode. I don't think Auntie's going to explode. Stargate, SGA, and had a Hoth. Okay, I haven't seen Atlantis yet, so I don't know. And Antricker, I sent you that link on Twitter too. Okay, Roxall, thank you. I will check that out when I get a chance. Enterprise True Mirror Darkly Part 1 and 2 is such a fun story that it's almost porn, Star Trek porn. I really liked Mirror Darkly Part 1 and 2. I do think that was Enterprise's crowning achievement, and it's too bad we didn't get more of that, because that was awesome. A big fish just flew over your head. Yeah, that's the Bela shark. That's a big old fish. Can I have a cyber chocolate chip cookie? You certainly can, Thomas. It's all yours. Brownies. All hell, Mrs. Antricker, queen of the internet. Absolutely. Lard is healthy. 0% sugar. That doesn't mean I'm going to eat it. Antricker, cross-company universe stories has concepts and concepts are problematic. Look at Flash versus Quicksilver. Is there a special force in the Marvel universe? Hint, no. See how problems arise. Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, like Flash versus Quicksilver. Quicksilver is basically just really, really fast. Flash taps into the Speed Force. And Flash is actually, if you look at what Flash is capable of, he's so OP, it's ridiculous. But yeah, their Flash would crush Quicksilver in any kind of competition, whether it be just a flat-out foot race or a fight. However, that doesn't make Flash better. It just means that that's the way those characters are designed. So, yes. And Black Adam says, Miss Antricker, go to his hobbit hole door and eat a brownie, then walk off, then send Joshua up to do the same thing. Wow, you guys are mean. That's really mean, you know. Luke says, that said, I admit there is one piece of Star Wars technology that could spice up the fight in a very interesting way. And look, it happens to be Imperial equipment. Happy now? Well, what piece of equipment are you talking about, Luke? I would try it, put maybe on Discord, and Mrs. Antricker, I am one of the people who are struggling with weight despite some success, so new recipe is always appreciated. Well, you see, babe, they want your recipe, if she's still watching. And let's see. And I got lost again because the chat's jumping around. Have you heard of the show The Boys from Amazon? Yes, Kronos. I just have not seen it. I don't know if it's any good. Sorry, the defunct German political party. Thank you, Peter. What I meant is designed to be beaten is that the only systematic feature in the Imperial equipment was a design flaw. It just happens to be exploitable by rebel forces. Well, I know, and that's just a conceit of writing. You're using the German moon base from the 40s. I'm not using... Oh, you're saying on... No, because it's actually not a moon base. It's an asteroid base. I predict that you won't like The Boys. Why? What, is it too graphic or is it too dark? Because, it does seem like it's a little on the dark side. Did you like anything to do with The Big Bang Theory or Young Sheldon? Young Sheldon I never even bothered to watch. It looks stupid. However, Big Bang Theory, first few years, yeah, I thought it was a fun show. And how can I not like The Big Bang Theory when our very own Luke Fovark stars in it? And for those of you that don't know, Luke Fovark has been lying to us. His real name is Leonard Hofstetter. Thermal exhaust ports, shield generator bulbs, AT-ATs, high legs, command towers sinking any destroyer that loses it, TIE fighters without shields, stormtroopers that can't see a thing, etc. Yeah, I know. But the thing is that even if you were to compare the Rebellion equipment, it's still hopelessly outclassed. And no, you're not allowed to talk to Mrs. Antitrekker, Dr. Alex. You know that. And Kronos wants to know what Mrs. Antitrekker thought of Endgame. We'll see if she's still here, if she has an opinion. But I know she really liked it. But like me, she rolled her eyes at the girl power hour thing. And I think she agreed that Fat Thor was fun. Oh no, Alex and Mrs. Antitrekker together. No, they are not. Which is better, Phantom Menace Puppet Yoda or CGI Yoda? I would say the CGI Yoda is definitely better than the Phantom Menace Puppet Yoda. I did not like the Phantom Menace Puppet Yoda at all. However, says Darren, in the Marvel Universe, Quicksilver was faster than the Flash because Flash was cut off from the Speed Force. This happened in the JLA Avengers crossover. Well, and that's a weird thing for sure, but... but I'm just saying, if you were to compare them both in their home turf, so to speak, Flash is not even close. It's like so much more advanced. The Boys has an interesting premise of superheroes having corporate support and protection. Makes you think if superheroes are actually heroes. That could be interesting. Do you like hidden DVD Easter eggs and special features? Occasionally, but I don't like having to look for them. Do you think Gary the Stormtrooper got employment with the First Order after the collapse of the Empire? I do. Is Antitrekker ranting a bit too much? No. Nightbreeze says, it is very graphic. When I say the woman exploded, it was in slow motion, and you see her spine and some other parts surrounded by a cloud of blood. Yeah, that's a bit much. However, here's the thing about gore and violence and stuff. If it's not gratuitous, if it serves the overall story, I'm okay with it. But I don't know what the point of The Boys is, so I can't say for sure whether or not I like it or not, or I would appreciate it. What makes Star Wars ships fighting so close? We know from the ESB, I'm not sure what the ESB is, that Star Destroyers can perform orbital bombardment. So there's no alpha. So there is alpha cannon supporting longer ranges than seen on screen. Well, it depends. Oh, ESP Empire Strikes Back if you look at orbital bombardment is not the same as attacking another ship, and it's perhaps, and I think it would make sense, that if the weapons have physical, chemical rockets and stuff attached to them, which if you look at, particularly in the Revenge of the Sith, you see a really good shot of how the weapons actually look being fired. It looks like they're firing actual projectiles, and there's more, the bolts that we see are more like tracer rounds than energy. And if that's the case, if they are actual physical projectiles that have some kind of propellant system, then it would make sense that orbital bombardment would have a longer range than spacefaring. Because if you're firing in space, let's say that the weapon has a burst of 2 seconds of fuel time where it can move or whatever or be guided. Well, if you have gravity working on your side, you can extend that quite a bit. And so orbital bombardment means you can use gravity to your advantage. Darren is out of here. Have a good one, Darren. Take care of yourself. Let's see. From what I have watched, does it add to the it does add to the overall story. Okay, well that's good then. And yes, ESB Empire Strikes Back. It took me a minute, but I got that. Well, a possible answer is featured in Return of the Jedi. No Rebel ship was able to figure out the all-powerful planetary shield generator around the Death Star was active. They were jammed. That's... Well, how's that an answer to the limited range? The point is a deconstruction of superheroes. They were mostly evil, and even good guys do shady criminal things to stop them. Well, and that could be good, could be bad. Let's see. In difference to the comic as a woman in the TV series are all mostly good. Actor, let's see. Oh, and, well, of course they are, because you can't have women not be good anymore. And Luke says, you're aware that there's barely anything to stop your projectiles in space, right? Yes. However, you are aware that in the Star Wars universe, apparently, if you run out of gas in space, you stop. Now, I know some people are saying, make fun of that, and there have been a lot of arguments and counter arguments about that. But here's the thing: you're assuming and simple Newtonian physics when it comes to their weapons. What if the propulsion system of said weapons is more along the lines of something like a warp drive or something where it's actually bending space around it, propelling it forward? If that's the case, then if that propellant runs out, the projectile would in fact stop even in space. You are assuming it's using simple Newtonian physics to push it forward at a relativistic speed. But if that's not true, if it's using something else, some kind of space warp or something like that to propel it, then running out of propellant would in fact stop it dead in its tracks. So that is actually a possibility. And the problem is we don't know, of course, because Star Wars doesn't tech the tech, right? And where Star Trek does that all day long. So the idea is this: what if Star Wars sensor jamming tech was too good and forced all ships to adapt by developing designs with viewports and dogfighting combat styles? That would be an interesting concept, but it still flies in the face of things like if that were the case, how come the targeting computer worked just fine in the Death Star battle? Why is it that we see targeting computers work all the time in Star Wars? It doesn't seem like you have to use line of sight. Let's see. Mrs. H-Checker answers the question about Endgame, says, Kronos, I loved Endgame. I am, of course, saddened by the loss of Tony Stark. Oh, yes, we all are. And I thought the girl power moment was stupid, but I really did enjoy the movie overall. There you go. RMP is in the house, says, greetings, fellow Star Trek fans. Hey, RMP, how you doing? And Jay Garrick was 90s Flash. That's true. And Mrs. Antitrekker says, hi, Dr. Alex, get that goatee growing. Hey. Doctor, first of all, we already discussed this. Dr. Alex is English, and so it would take him about 30 years to grow a goatee as epic as mine. So it ain't going to happen. So good luck with that, Dr. Alex. You can't compete with me. Yeah, I'll just stick with that. And Auntie, what are you doing? So she's curled up and sleeping right behind my chair, so you can't see her. And Mrs. Antitrekker says, I was a great movie indeed. I assume you mean It, but that was, or that's Kronos saying that to Mrs. Antitrekker. I was a great movie indeed. I know you meant It. All right, guys, so I am going to wrap it up there. I got to try to get some work done in the little bit of time that I have. If I can, no promises today because I'm still feeling like crap. If I can, I will do a subscriber stream later today. I know I haven't done that in a few weeks, and I feel bad, but I got to, It's been difficult. I may get on Space Engineers for a little while just to kind of see how the base is going and all that. But yeah, I gotta. Man, what a day. But Luke says the targeting computer for the Death Star works just fine because they're aiming at a planet. No, I'm talking about the targeting computers on the TIE fighters and X-Wings. You know, Luke. Luke turned off his targeting computer. However, the other, a gold leader, kept his targeting computer on the entire time. Luke's targeting computer was working just fine up until when he actually shut it off. And Darth Vader's targeting computer worked just fine enough to get a lock on Luke and taking out R2-D2 because of it. So, yeah. Matter and antimatter. Okay. And Mrs. Anti-Trekker is saying goodbye to everybody. Everybody's saying bye to Mrs. Anti-Trekker, as you guys like her more than me. You're all a bunch of jerks. And so, yeah, suck on, I don't know, an egg or something. And, of course, the credits didn't roll because